Alright. Alright guys, thank you for coming. My name is Leo, and we're gonna wait for her to look it up. So welcome to our very first social club. Social club is going to be an activity in which we are going to have all different levels of students doing an activity in common. So I wrote some help phrases. So throughout the presentation, we're going to try to use very little Spanish, if no Spanish, doing this. It's like an exercise. So we use all the English that we know. Okay? So if you don't know something, how do you say casa? If that's what you really want to do. So, but at least we're using more English. How do you say it, right? Or what is, if you see a word in the presentation that you don't know, you say, Leo, teacher, whatever you want. Hey, what is, that word? And then I'll explain it to you. And when I say explain, I will explain. Translating is not really good for the learning process because you're thinking in Spanish when you translate. So the less translation that you do, the better. And if you hear something, please repeat. And I will repeat what I said. Okay? So our social club today is going to be about Peruvian traditions. Okay? But before we, is this one here? Okay. When we talk about Peruvian, I'm going to focus on the word Peruvian. We're talking about a location, right? So that's, what country is this? Peru. Right. So there are two questions that when it comes to your place of birth, where you were born, okay? The first one is, where are you from? Where are you from? They're asking you the country, right? So, where are you from?
From Peru.
So, where are you from?
I'm Peruvian. I'm from Peru.
She answered the second question. So, I asked the first question, and she answered the second question. Okay? So she's like jumping ahead. Good, I like that. So, where are you from? From, which is also true. Okay? And in this case, if you are in a country where we're all here, you're from Peru. So when it's where are you from, maybe we're asking what city. I'm from Lima, I'm from Cajamarca, I'm from Cusco. That is also part. Because the from, it depends where you're at. We're looking for a country, or because you can ask, where were you born? That's more specific. The place of birth, where your mom and dad, the hospital where you were born. Okay, so that's very specific. But generally, we want a country or your city. And then, what is your nationality? The nationality is the way we express the content of the country, right? So, if we have Peru, what's the nationality? Peruvian, right? If you're from Brazil, Brazilian, excellent. If you're from Colombia, Colombian, right? And Argentina, Argentine. You know what? Sometimes they are. That's a really good guess. Argentinian. Everyone can repeat Argentinian, right? Okay. How about that one? Oh, can you see something? Alright. How's that? What about that one? How do you say it? Chile? Chile is cold. Have you read Chile? Like, I'm chilly, it means I'm cold. Chilean. Which is kind of strange, right? What country is this?
Venezuela.
So the nationality?
Venezuela.
Yeah, she said it.
Yeah.
So usually, if you're from, let's see, Canada, what do you think Canada would be the nationality?
Canadian.
Canadian. Let's get What about Luxembourg? I guess a little. That was a little tricky. So, but that is the idea that one thing is where you're from, which we're looking for, the country, or we're looking for the city, specifically the place where you were born, and then your nationality, okay? Which also, we're going to talk about food and tradition and where things are made. Like, can someone tell me something that is Peruvian, besides the awesome, beautiful people? Something that is Peruvian. Can someone tell me something that is very Peruvian? Peruvian food, right? So, that's the idea. What are traditions? Can someone tell me roughly, quickly, as short, just that you can participate too, and actually anyone can participate. Everyone can participate. Everybody can participate. I did the same with Zilla, I said everybody. Right? Okay. Can someone tell me the traditions? What are traditions? What's the main idea with traditions? Customs, right? Which goes into synonyms. Synonyms are, a different word to say the same thing. Okay, so, but what is the main thing that we do with traditions? I'm looking for a word. When you have a tradition, what do we do with a tradition? We repeat it, right? We repeat it, which means, and we celebrate. Right? The things that we celebrate. So, are traditions important? Yes, what? Why are they important? Which you said yes, so why are they important?
Because make your country have a characteristic for your country.
Okay, look, identity, who you are. Now, can traditions be only for a country, or can a person have, or a family, can they have traditions? What do you think? Let's get somebody else. Do you think a family can have traditions, or that's something only for a country? What do you think? Maybe? Do you have a tradition that's something that you do all the time? Like, for example, every year. What do you do every year? Something that you do every year. Can you tell me? What do you think? It starts with happy birthday. What? Okay. So, would that be a tradition?
Yes. The way.
Why? Why is it tradition? You repeat, you do it all the time. It repeats. You celebrate. It is a tradition to celebrate our birthdays. Okay, and there's a song. And what I don't like when we do it here in Peru, the English version is really slow, and then it's really fun when they sing in Spanish. They're like, happy birthday. They go, da 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 da. Why is the English version low and the Spanish like all party fun? I'm gonna change that. Seriously, I don't like that. Okay. Does Peru have traditions? Yes? Okay, I'm gonna ask one each. Okay, and you can't repeat, and you're gonna be last, not first. Give me a Peruvian tradition.
Dancing.
Dancing? Dancing? Okay, that will be more specific in a minute. Another Peruvian tradition. Something that we do in Peru all the time. So food? So here we go. Remember the hell face? Say, how do you say? No, but you can ask me, how do you say?
How to say?
What? In Spanish, tell me the word in Spanish. What is it?
Comida.
Food. Okay, so you know what? Let's repeat that. Ask me again, how?
How do you say comida?
Comida is food. Okay, so that's how you ask. So we use as much English as possible. Okay, so food. Is a tradition with food? Great. Another tradition in Peru? What do you think? Something that in Peru you do every year. Not your birthday, something else. Something in Peru. The most Peruvians celebrate. What would you say? Keep thinking. I'll go back to you. What do you think?
How do you say días patronales o días festivos? O sea, mes de octubre.
Uruguay.
Okay.
Our Lord of Uruguay. Something like that.
National.
national holidays. Can you give me an example of a national holiday?
Sí, ¿no? Por ejemplo, el 28 de octubre, que es Día del Señor de los Milagros, o...
Okay, alright, so and we're gonna go back to some of the definitions in Spanish, but that's really good. Another tradition, we're going back to that.
How do you say campesino?
It depends in the context. Tell me the whole
Because
idea.
it's
Leo.
24th of June.
20, June 24th. June 24th. In English we say the month.
Day of campesino.
Agriculture. Agriculture Day. You can say that. Okay, so you like that one?
Yes.
Okay. Because now, what is your favorite tradition in Peru? The one that, oh my God, it's like every year you look forward to having to celebrate that tradition. What is your favorite tradition?
The most important is Christmas.
Not important. Your favorite. Something can be important. That is your favorite too. Okay, Christmas.
Because
Alright.
every person meets her family.
It's a very family tradition. What is your favorite holiday?
New Year.
Thank you for making that clear. All right. So she was lying. Okay, fine. And you're on tape too. We're taping this. Okay. What is your favorite holiday? Oh, not a holiday, but your favorite tradition. And it doesn't have to be a Peruvian, just something personal that...
I mean, can be like travel in the New Year's.
Would that be a tradition? Is that a Peruvian tradition? No, that's her tradition. I travel every year in New Year's, or for New Year's, okay? Now, speaking of synonyms, these are some words that, if you have your notebooks, something that you repeat. Heritage. Heritage is connected to something that is given, passed on from the past. Your heritage. Like, it could be your Peruvian heritage, it could be your family heritage, okay? Something that came from the past, okay? I really like the next one. Social convention. Can anyone explain to me, Jafet? Social convention, what do you think? We're gonna get Jafet to work on this. What do you think social convention means? What is the idea behind that? Can you tell us?
Like this.
Like we're doing this social gathering? Anybody else? A different idea?
Postura.
Okay, that's on the Peruvian. Okay. Another idea? The social convention. Social convention is something that's related that us, as a society, agree on. So for example, if I come in the room, okay, I come in, the social convention dictates that I say, hello, good morning, and I come, that's the social convention. Because if I come in, and I go, that is not the social convention. Now, is there a written rule that I have to say hello? No, right? So that's the idea with social convention. Politeness, being nice, that's kind of, but a way to describe it, social convention. Social convention is someone go, well, thank you. That is the social convention. That if you sneeze, someone says, bless you, or God bless you, or Gesundheit. But that's the idea. That's the idea of social convention. And then, of course, here, the unwritten. Remember, for example, a little bit of grammar. I hate grammar, but anyways. Un means no. There's a prefix. You put un before something, most of them, it means no. So unwritten. It's not written. In the law are the rules, right? The law says this, you can't do it. It's unwritten. Nobody says that I have to come in and say hello. Social convention says that I should, that I need to come in and say hello. Politeness, okay? So that's a little bit of vocabulary, vocabulary is one of the things that we really want to focus on. To give you more vocabulary. And of course, grammar comes, a little bit. So, speaking of art, yes?
What will be the difference between an educated person and social convention or education or something like that?
Social convention is more about like a tradition, something that is repeated. Education is more specific, something that is more organized learning. You know, you receive an education, for like a school, university, and that social convention comes through, networking to the family. It's like you see your parents when they come to the room, they go, oh, good afternoon, good afternoon. Oh, there is something in Peru that is used all the time. What happens when you see people that are eating lunch? What do you tell them?
Have some?
Social convention. And when you say English. Okay? In English we say enjoy. You go, oh, enjoy, and you continue. Okay?
Right.
Unwritten law, social convention. Now, connecting to education is like your parents, when you're a child, your parents are your learning institution, your home. Your first learning center is your home as a child. Then you go to the other formal schools and universities and so on and so forth. Still part of education.
Yeah.
Alright, so here we go. As far as art, Peru has beautiful art. So, what would this be? What type of art are we describing here? Paintings, right? We're going to focus on food today. So this part I'm going to go really fast. Food is really what we're going to do. And what about this one here? You seen this? It's on Petit Tours, right? The market. But it's got that, it's got these things, it's got all these things. There's a word for that. Look at this. Craft.
Crafts is not this.
Okay, say that but in English. Like, okay.
What do you say?
How do you say?
What do you say?
Okay. Handmade. Handmade. A craft.
Handmade, yeah.
A craft is anything that you make by hand. They sew the thing, they have the box, and they paint, and they do the little thing, and they cut, and they paint. It's a craft. And they usually it's called arts and crafts, because
Like
artisanal. Yeah, because it was, it wasn't a factory. Would this be a craft? Like,
No.
look at, why?
You haven't done it.
Why not?
I don't think that
It's factory made. It's an assembly line. A craft is something that you do by hand, small numbers, more personal, arts and crafts. So all those little things that you see, the box, the thing, the clay thing, we describe them as crafts, okay? And what do we call a painting on a wall? Actually, the word in Spanish is kind of similar. I noticed there's a lot of murals in Peru. I think it's fantastic. It's really, really cool. Barranco has a lot of them. I think it's great. So,
Another word for that. Another word for
What about the
it could be a fresco. Fresco is the official, which is not English, it's Italian. But we use it in English. English borrowed German, French, and just like resume. That's French. It's not American. It's not English per se. But anyways, fresco. Fresco is the technical description of a painting on a wall. What is one of the most famous frescoes in the world? The Last Supper. Da Vinci painted, with Jesus and the apostles. That wasn't a painting. That was a fresco. That was painted on a wall. That's a fresco. And what is the most popular or famous Peruvian fresco? The Lord of the Miracles. The image of the Señor de Milagros, right? That was painted
on the wall?
On the wall. That's a fresco. So in Peru, the most famous fresco, I think, is that one. In the world, I would think the Last Supper. That is the description of the painting. Jesus with the apostles, the Last Supper. So we're going to move on from that. Now we're going to my favorite. Okay, this part is really good, and we're going to focus. And this is where the vocabulary comes from. So if you have pen and paper to take note. Okay, can someone tell me what is the and this is in my opinion. Okay, it's not an official thing, but in my opinion, what do you think is the most popular identifying dish from Peru. I want different ideas. Okay, so what do you think it is? Ceviche. What do you think? In Peru, the dish, the most popular. What do you think? Cuy. Okay. Cuy's dish. Okay. Ceviche.
Lomo saltado.
Lomo saltado. Chicken.
Breast?
Roasted.
Chicken. Rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
Rotisserie.
Yeah.
Rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie is the action to turn and to spin it. Rotisserie. But okay, so who said ceviche? So you said ceviche. Who said ceviche? You said ceviche, right? All right. Okay. In my opinion, ceviche is the most popular dish in Peru because we're here on the coast. And you know, if you go to the rainforest, they won't say they will say other things. So, anyways, how do you say ceviche in English? In English?
Fresh fish?
That's how you say ceviche in English.
It's the same.
Right. So my point here is that there are certain things that we don't translate. They are what they are. And you can say ceviche, which is not a problem. Oh my God, I really love to eat ceviche. And a person who's not from Peru, they're going to go, what is it? So here we go. That is, that's what you like. Okay, in English, that's what you like. So now, there's a lot of vocabulary describing, and we can simplify it. For example, chunks of raw fish. Okay? So we can take the word chunks. Chunks means pieces. Okay? Like, you know, like a little square, a little rectangle, you know, like a cube. Chunks, okay? Raw, not cooked. Like no fire. No fire was involved in this. It's not cooked. It's raw fish, so the fish is not cooked by fire. Marinated means that it was sitting there on. It can be with beer, wine. In this case, look at this, in freshly squeezed lime juice. I didn't have to write freshly squeezed. I can say marinated in lime juice. And that's enough. Okay? Marinated in, lime juice. But look at this, adding freshly squeezed. Can someone tell me what is squeezed? Just like, what is squeezed? Show me squeezed. That's squint. Squeeze. Squeeze.
Yes, that's the one.
You squeeze.
Yeah, squeeze sandwich.
But like, I can squeeze your hand. Like, I can squeeze your hand. I'm squeezing it. Squeeze. You know, if you get a juice out, orange, lemon, lime, whatever. So freshly. So it means that at the moment it's fresh.
At the moment, yeah.
But look, and this is not grammar. Again, this is just vocabulary to help you paint a better picture, a better description of what we're doing. So here we go. Chunks of raw fish, pieces of raw fish, not cooked fish, marinated, in freshly squeezed lime juice with sliced. That's another word because I can say with onions. It's fine, but now more detail. Having the word sliced. One of the most popular ways to use the word slice is sliced bread. When you go to the store, you buy the bread in the bag, come in slices. And another famous word related to slice is pizza, a pizza slice, okay? Which means that it was cut. Because the bread square and the pizza is triangle, right? So it's not the shape, it's that it was cut, okay? So look at that. With sliced, we know it's cut. Sliced onions, chili peppers, which is the stuff that who likes it really spicy? I can't. Yeah, crazy, right? Chili pepper. Sweet potatoes, right here. Not potatoes, but sweet potatoes. Okay, salt and pepper. So that is a description of ceviche, and it's okay to say ceviche. You don't have to translate, but you need to kind of explain it. Okay? Not really explain it, but describe. Describe it. So to make it really simple, raw fish, marinated,
and lime juice with onions, chili peppers, sweet tomatoes, and salt and pepper.
How would you say
Anybody? How do you say cachita? Anybody? Jafet?
What?
How do you say cachita?
corn?
Huh?
Good question.
No!
Yeah.
Corn. It's corn. Yeah.
Good question.
It's not popcorn. Popcorn is white, and you in the movie theater you get popcorn. This would be you can say Peruvian corn, but I think the word here is roasted.
Yes.
Roasted. To roast means that you just heat it up in a pan. You don't fry. If you put oil, you fry it. That is to fry. Okay, roasted like peanuts. You know, so I would call this roasted corn. Now, that's not really the description of ceviche because you can have it not. You can add it if you want. But this is the description. You know, the chunks of raw fish, you know, marinated in the freshly squeezed lime juice with sliced onions and sweet potatoes. And there's the regular corn, I think, right? And this is the
corn. Just corn.
That's just corn.
That's corn.
That's just corn. That is roasted corn, and then you have popcorn in the theater. Culanto's culantro, I think. Yeah, Culanto's culantro. Yeah. All right, here we go. So, what is the second most popular?
What you like?
Milagros was going to bring causa, but we couldn't have time. But anyways, so always one fast. Now, there's a lot of traditions. We're going to focus in food because we want to focus in descriptions and vocabulary. Okay, that's what we're doing today. So how do you say causa in English? Amazing, you guys are great. All right, and then here it comes. Lemon. I love that word. It comes from lemon. Something that has a lemon feel, taste is lemony. You know, I love that. Lemony yellow potatoes. Layer. Man, this is a really good word too. Can someone explain to me what layer is? What do you think? Layer.
Yes.
Layer.
Yes,
Good
right.
guess. Layer is in rows. Layers. One on top of the other. Layers. It's like Earth, the planet Earth, you cut it out, and then you have the different layers. The ozone layer, you know, the different type, you know, oxygen in the atmosphere and stuff. So, potato layer, look at this, 1 layer, 2, 3 layers. With avocado, which is the green stuff, right? Avocado. With chicken or tuna salad. So it's chicken salad or tuna salad. I've learned in Peru now that tuna is a fruit.
Yes.
But that in the States, that we call that kiwi. So, tuna salad means that it was made from, how do you say tuna in Spanish? From atún, I think I read it. So, we call that tuna salad. So this can be made, and I think craft meat too is the other one. But anyway, so chicken salad. Usually molded means from a mold, that you give a shape. Molded in a circled shape. Here's a circle shape. Okay? And then I said usually. Usually is a good descriptor. It's not always. Always. What is the opposite of always? Never. So, it's not always, it's not never. Usually. Where is it here? It's usually, because I see different. I see squares or rectangles. But, right, exactly. But usually, in a circle shape, which is, there's your circle shape. Okay. So what is the third most popular dish in Peru? The third. Number 3 is what? There's your lomo saltado. Alright, okay. So, now, here is a lot of vocabulary as well. And how do we say lomo saltado in English?
Jumping meat.
Jumping. Scared me, you know.
Jumping.
No.
Saltado.
Lomo saltado is lomo saltado. Okay? And again, and this is part of a little bit of the lesson. It's okay to say proper names in the Spanish. You know, how do you just say it?
Yeah.
You say it and then you explain.
Because it's the name of the dish.
It's yeah. Some things you like. It's like pizza. Italian, American, how do you say pizza in Chinese? Pizza. How do you say pizza in German? How How do you say pizza in German?
Pizza.
Beautiful. He knows German. Look at that. Okay? That's the thing. So same thing with ceviche. Ceviche in German? She speaks German too. She's fluent. Amazing. Okay? Alright. So, here you go. Description of lomo saltado, no jumping something. Here we go. Again, something interesting in here that I want to explain. So, stir fry. A stir fry is the process of cooking. A stir fry means that you put a bunch of stuff in, it's called a wok. You know wok, okay. Okay, and then you kind of fry it. So anything that you put together different things and you fry, it's called a stir fry. Stir means from mixing. You stir. Like when you make your coffee, you add sugar, you stir. Okay? So you're stirring, you're mixing. You know, in the coffee, you mix the coffee, the the sugar. I put juice in my coffee, okay? So coffee, sugar, maybe a little milk, and you stir. You stir to mix. So the stir fry, you're mixing and frying. I mean, it's very specific. Strips. What's a strip? A strip. No, that would be chunks. Remember? Because I didn't put strips of fish. I put chunks of fish. A strip is a longer piece. I don't know what Tina's is. I don't care what Tina's is. It's a longer. I know. I don't care. All right. So a strip is a long piece. Like for example, who's wearing the stripes here? Okay. You want to come for a second? He's wearing a purple shirt. It has got some stripes. See this long lines? It's got the stripes here, the stripes here. He's a model. There you go. Thank you. Okay, yeah, a stripe. You have some stripes here. What is that? Yeah. A scarf. In social club, we're going to talk about clothing too, because there are so many things that we wear, we don't have whatever. So those are strips, okay? So, strips of beef, not meat, beef. It's very specific. Beef comes from a cow. Okay, a lot of times, it's strips of meat. And that's another mistake. It's not meat. Meat is everything. Meat is chicken, fish, pork. And the two names that change, we eat chicken, right? We don't eat cow. What do we eat? We eat? Do we eat pig? We eat? Pork. Kind of interesting. We eat fish. Fish is fish. We eat fish. We eat fish. But we don't eat cow and we don't eat pig. We eat beef and we eat pork. Kind of interesting. Okay? With onions, tomatoes, what else?
French fries.
Now, when we talk about nationality, we capitalize the letter. Peruvian is capital P, French is capital P, Canadian, capital C. But in this case, French fries, it's a word describing food, so we do not capitalize the F. Okay? French fries are not really from France. It's not French. It's just, it's like the cut and it goes a French cut, whatever. So that's what's capitalized. And other ingredients, because other ingredients, things you add, served with not just rice, but the white, because you have different types of rice. So a little more specific with white rice. Okay? So again, more vocabulary. What's next? I forget. Surprise. My God. What is that? What do we call that? I mean, everything. Not just one dish, but everything. What do we call it? What? Chifa. Look at that. Chifa. Everything. There's so many. I'm not talking one dish, just all the food in general. And here we go. Who would like to volunteer to read that for me? Who wants to read that? Somebody? Go. Great.
Chinese elements fused with traditional Peruvian ingredients. Chifa is also used to describe the type of restaurant.
Okay, so chifa is the type of food, and chifa is the actual restaurant.
Yes.
Let's go to the. Hey, do you want to eat?
Chinese.
Yeah, so that's it. And one of the good words here is fused. Fused, fusion, blended, mixed. So Chinese elements with traditional Peruvian ingredients. So there's elements and ingredients because they're not really Chinese ingredients. They are Chinese elements. Elements are like the parts of Chinese elements with Peruvian stuff, and that's kind of what chifa is. Okay. Oh, before I go back, this is my personal list, right? So I cannot eat this if there's no Inca Cola.
Me too.
I cannot drink lemonade, Coke, whatever. I can't. If the restaurant doesn't have Inca Cola, I leave. It's like, no Inca Cola, bye bye. I'm this is insane. Okay, here we go. What is that? And how do you say chichambora in English? Yeah, beautiful. And there you go. Would you like to read that for me, please?
A beverage
Mhm.
from the highlands of Peru,
Uh-huh.
made from purple corn with lime juice,
Juice, uh-huh.
sugar, and cinnamon.
That's it. So the key thing here, beverage, look at that. Because drink and beverage are, synonymous, but beverage is a really good word. If you have a very formal situation, you can say, would you like a beverage rather than would you like a drink? It just sounds nice. It's the same. One is formal, nicer. Would you like a drink? Would you like a beverage? If you say beverage, it's nicer. It's more formal, elegant. Exactly. Okay, highlands of Peru. Highlands. So you have the coast, the highlands, right, and then the rainforest. So the highlands of Peru, made from. That's another key thing. Made from this and that. So for example, wine. Who likes wine? To drink wine. 1, 2. She likes wine. You like wine? Okay. So wine. What's the main ingredient? So you would say wine is what?
Made from
What?
Grapes.
Okay. Vodka is
made from
vodka. Who knows?
Potato.
Potato. But the key thing here is this.
made
It's not made with. It's made from. To be specifically aligned to that. So purple corn. This is the purple corn. This is the lime. This is the cinnamon. Can somebody tell me what is this? It's like the big thing that you pour.
jar.
Kind of a jar. A jar doesn't have a handle. If it has a handle, it's a pitcher. It's with a pitcher. In a jar, no handle. Then it becomes a jar. Jar, pitcher. Okay, and of course, again, it's just vocabulary. It's my list. It's pisco sour. Can you read that one for me, please?
It's a cocktail made by mixed Peruvian pisco with lime juice.
Simple.
Syrup.
Syrup. Very good.
White.
Egg white.
All blended.
All blended.
With ice.
With ice. So look at this. Made by. So we're talking about the process. Made by doing this and whatever, mixing like whatever. So because the previous, was made from. We're talking about the origin. Where did it come from? Okay. So that's a little bit different. Okay. So, oops, sorry about that. And then blended. What is blended? Anyone? What the action to blend? Blended. That's called the blender. The blend. So if you put something in the blender, you're going to blend it. Okay? So blended. Because how do you make pieces up? Right? And how do you somebody in English? Right. And that is? Right. And that is? People don't know. It's interesting. I love that. Oh yeah, Marinera. Oh my God. And this? What do you call that? Amazon music. Okay. Now, what about this picture right here? Look at the picture and tell me about traditions. What do you see? Look at me. There are two pictures. One this side, and from here to that side. What's the connection? Can someone describe that for me?
The same day.
The same day. What was the date? In English, no Spanish.
31?
October.
Don't forget, when we give the date in English, we start with the month first. So first the month, the date, and then the year. Like for example, when is your birthday?
January.
Okay. So anyway, so what is the date of this? October 31 or 31st? 31? No, 31st. When we talk about the specific dates, we say October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. When we're talking about dates. Because it's the first day of October. It's the second day. It is placement. So when it's placement, we give it the placement number. Okay, so it's the 31st of October or October 31st. Can you say the last day of October? Same thing. It's a different way. It's a different way to say the same thing. So, and what is the celebration here? Is that a tradition in Peru?
Now yes.
Not yet.
Yes.
A little bit.
But it's original from
So,
USA.
it's right. It was borrowed.
Yes.
It was acquired. It was taken. It was assimilated. See how many words to describe one thing? So this is again the key to this social club vocabulary, okay, in description. So anyway, yeah, this is the Peruvian one, but a lot of people are celebrating that. What region of Peru is this from? Oh, what happened? Oh, okay, sorry, I should have got a text. So what region of Peru is this?
Where is the
Coast.
coast?
What region is this? The highlands, remember? The purple corn? Okay? Highlands, and this?
Jungle?
The jungle. But there's another term that's a little nicer, I think. The rainforest. I think that the rainforest is next to the jungle. Jungle sounds too late. The jungle. Like something's gonna attack you and kill you. And the rainforest is nice. The rainforest, oh, nice, peaceful. The jungle sounds more aggressive, I think. My opinion. Just like ceviches, the most popular. Okay? Sports. What is the most popular sport in Peru?
Football.
No.
No.
Soccer. And then what?
Okay.
So,
Spanish is football.
you know what? If you go to Europe, it is football. Okay? That's another thing to remember. So, the game of football was invented where? England. It comes from England. Okay? And they called it football. Now, something happened when we got to the United States that we call football, but now more people are saying American football, and then soccer. In the States, it's soccer. So you can say football, which is fine. I was just being difficult. Okay? So yes. So what is the second most popular sport in Peru? Yeah, amazing. Now, there's a third. Okay? But the difference that there's a word that I'm going to use to call controversial. It's kind of, some people say it's a sport, some people say it's not a sport, but I think the key word or the health phrase is controversial. Can anyone think something controversial? A sport in Peru?
I don't like.
Well, that's my. So who likes bullfighting? Who likes bullfighting? One. Who like to go to watch?
Go.
Yeah.
Watch.
We
I
can.
like to watch.
Well, on TV, go to
I
the
don't
thing.
like it, but I've been there.
I like that when the bull wins.
Yeah, when they get the bullfighter. Yeah. So you haven't been, but you've seen it
Yeah.
in person, but you didn't like it.
No.
So why did you go?
Because I have to be there.
Oh, obligation.
Yeah, something for me.
They took you. They bullfighter.
No, but
No.
my aunt.
It was a family thing.
Yes.
You knew the bull. Okay. That's good. Alright, so here we go, look at that. The most popular sport in Peru. or soccer and volleyball. And then we don't, here in Peru say volleyball is volleyball, the complete volleyball, okay? Another traditional and controversial sport is bull. Some people say that bullfighting is not even a sport. Some people think it's a sport, some people say it's not a sport. But I thought it was important to describe it. Okay? The Spanish from Spain, but Peru kind of took that tradition. You know, it is a tradition. Not, so here's a tradition, maybe it's not always good. You know, so because it's a tradition, it doesn't mean that it's good. Sometimes it can be a negative. And that's okay. And we decide, hey, I want to participate. I want to do, like you guys decided to say, you know what? I want to come to the social club. And now, this social club is going to be a tradition for New Deal. We're going to be doing it twice per month. Okay? That is going to become a New Deal tradition. To have a social club activity with different ideas. And I think the main focus is going to be vocabulary. Okay? Traditional, controversial, bullfighting, most popular. The most popular. Not that way, what is popular? No, that's not the question. What is the most popular? So, those little things. Okay? Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here to our first social club. And if you have ideas of what we should do, tell them to defend it, the front, hey, what about, or tell me or the other teachers, hey, what about a social club with this idea or that idea? Obviously, we want to hear from you, okay? And thank you for coming. Have a great weekend, and keep practicing, okay? All right, and then we have some drinks and snacks, and yeah, and then we're gonna take a picture with everybody, to record our first social club, okay? Thank you guys. Good job. All right, more food. Good job. So I want to take a picture with everybody, okay? So nobody go yet. No more. We just have to pour it. I want to have one of those too. All right. Good. Thank you. And a ceviche first. Yeah, I just wanted to focus on vocabulary. It's